So today I'm going to solve the assignment. And the question says the masses of 50 women in a female sports camp are given below. These are their masses. A says using a class interval of 10 to 15, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, etc. Prepare a cumulative frequency table and use it to draw the O-give for the distribution. B. From the graph, estimate the I upper quarter, II 90th percentile. So we have our graph note, we have our ruler, our pen, our pencil, and eraser. We're going to be ruling this graph note into two. So today's cumulative frequency is on grouped data. Data that has been given to us is ungrouped because the data are scattered. They didn't give it to us in its tabular form, like for example this form. So it's an ungrouped data. We are the ones who will group it using the information we've been given here. We should not forget to rule our lines and have our mass, frequency, cumulative frequency, and class boundary ready. Now I wrote out the data, the masses out in one book. You can choose to write yours in your graph notes, whichever one you want. So we should recall that in the question we were told to use a class interval of 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. So in such manner, we should keep making the class interval. We should also note that the highest number or the highest data seem to be 72. Let's see. Yes, so 72 is the highest number, which means that where our class interval is going to stop will be 70 to 79, because 72 is the highest number. So in our graph notes, we'll start with 10 to 19. Next is 20 to 29. Next is 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and 70 to 79. Now, in order for me to get their frequencies, meaning the number of times that the masses 10 to 19 shows up in among this data, I'm going to write that as the frequency. So let's do that. From 10 to 19, we have to search 10 to 19. This is 14. 14 falls in the category. So let's use O mark first. So 14 falls in the category of 10 to 19. 17 falls in the category of 10 to 19. 10 to 19, 19. 15 falls from 10 to 19, 19 falls from 10 to 19, and that's that. So we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are six times. That is the frequency. So we're going to write 6. Then we are going to search for the number of times 20 to 29 occurs among the data. 20 to 29. 20 to 29. Let's use another sign. Let's use an X sign. 20 to 29. 25 occurs between 20 to 29. 23 occurs between 20 to 29. 29 between 20 to 29. That's all. So we are going to count the number of x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So we are writing 10 as the frequency. Then we search for number of times 30 to 39 occur. 30 to 39. So let's use another sign. Let's use the max sign. 31 occurs. So 30 to 39. 35 occurs. 37 occurs. 33 occurs. 35 occurs. So we can easily differentiate. That's what I'm trying to tick well. 37 occurs. 38 occurs. 36 occurs. 36 occurs. 38 occurs. 36 occurs. 32 occurs. 30 occurs. So we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 times. The next one, 40 to 49. We will use another sign. 40 to 49. 47 is there. 43 is there. 45 is there. 48. 41. 46. 41. 44. 43. 44. 41. So we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times. The next is 50 to 59. We use another sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. And then we look for 60 to 69. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then from 70 to 79 occurs only once. So this is going to be 1. Then we are going to get the summation of f, which is this sign, summation of f. We have to add everything together. And the summation of everything gives us 50. So in order to get the cumulative frequency, the frequency has a starting origin, which is 0. So 0 plus 6 will give us 6. 6 plus 10, 16. 16 plus 13, 29. 29 plus 11, 40. 40 plus 6, 46. 46 plus 3, 49. And 49 plus 1 is 50. Now, in order to get our class boundary, we subtract 0.5 from the lower class intervals, and we add 0.5 to the upper class intervals. So 10.5 minus 0.5 will give us 9.5, to 19.5 plus 0.5 will give us 19 plus 0.5 will give us 19.5. So we do the rest that way. So this is it. So the first question says, A. Using a class interval 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, etc., prepare a cumulative frequency table and use it to draw the O-give for the distribution. So let us remember that we are making use of the cumulative frequency with the lower class boundary to prepare our graph, our O-give graph. The cumulative frequency will be used to plot the y-axis. The lower class boundary will be used to plot the x-axis. So I want to figure out my scale. Now I'm looking at the cumulative frequency and I'm seeing that the highest value is 50. I want to see if I use 2 centimeter for 10 units, if my graph would be enough on the y-axis, and if I use 2 centimeter for 10 units, if my x-axis will be enough. So here the highest value is 50 and here the highest value is 69.5. So on the graph, this is my graph sheet. So let's say the highest value on the y-axis is 50. On the cumulative frequency, the highest value is 50. So let's say I'm using this 2 centimeter. This is 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter. I'm using this 2 centimeter box to represent 10 units. So starting from, let's say somewhere here, this is my origin, 0 plus 10, plus 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, I can use it. There's enough space as 10. Then on the x-axis, I want to see, since the highest value there seems to be 69.5, so starting from point 0, this is 9.5, 19.5, 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, 59.5, 69.5. So the x-axis is enough. Since there is enough space on the y-axis, you can also choose to use your 2 centimeter as 5 units, but I will be using my 2 centimeter to 10 units. So my starting point here will be 0, the next will be 10, the next 20, 30, 40, and 50. If you like, you can choose to use yours as 0, then 5, then plus 5, 10 plus 5, 15 plus 5, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You can choose to use that so that your graph can be bold. But notice that when you are using 5 units, it means that you are going to be, since there are 10 lines, in this box, you are going to be dividing your 5 units, which is the whole unit for the box, 5 units. You are going to be dividing by 10 lines in order to know what each line would be. So that will be 5 divided by 10, which will be 0.5. 5 divided by 10 is 0.5, which means that, let's say this is the starting point. The next will be 0.5 plus another 0.5 for the next line will be 1, then 1.5, then 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, then 5. So that is how you count it. However, for my own graph, I'm not using 5 units, I'm using 10 units. So each line will represent 1. I'm going to draw my Y and X lines. I've drawn the line. This is my origin, so I number it 0. This is my arrow, showcasing this to be the x-axis. And this is also my arrow, showcasing it to be y-axis. Now don't forget to write out your scale. So write on the notes, there is an area for scale. With your pen, we are going to write out for our x-axis, we are using 2 centimeter to represent 10 units. And also on our y-axis, we are also using 2 centimeter to represent 10 units. So if you are going to be using 5 units for your own y-axis, you should make sure you write 5 units on the 2 centimeter to 5 units here. So I'm going to number, starting with 9.5 to 69.5, which is on the lower class boundary. So then this is 0, this is 9.5, this is 19.5, this is 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, 59.5, and 69.5, which is the last. Then on our y-axis, we're having 0 is the origin, we're having 10, we're having 20, 30, 40, and 50, which is the highest frequency. So on this place, with our pen, we are going to be writing cumulative frequency. Then down here, we are going to be writing the lower class boundary. Remember, we are plotting with our cumulative frequency values to our lower class boundary. The lower class boundary are 9.5, 19.5, 29.5, 39.5, all the way to 69.5. We are not using this. So where the cumulative frequency is 6, our lower class boundary is 9.5. So we go into the graph. This is 9.5. We count from the origin 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since each line represents 1, we are going to mark that place. Then the next one says that where our cumulative frequency is 16, our lower class boundary is 19.5, and this is where 19.5 is. So this is 10. We count 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We mark. And we link. Then the next says where the cumulative frequency is 29. This lower class boundary is 29.5 and this is 29.5. So we count to 29. This is 10. This is 20. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we mark. From 40, where this is 40, this is 39.5 and this is 39.5. So we count 10, 20, 30, 40. Where this is 40, so we mark. Where this is 46, this is 49.5 and this is 49.5. We count to 46. This is 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We mark. Where this is 49, the lower class boundary is 59.5 and this is 59.5. So we count to 49. This is 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. We mark. And we trace. And the last one, where the cumulative frequency is 50, the lower class boundary is 69.5. And this is 50, and this is 69.5. This is where they both meet. You mark the place. Now, you are to mark that, you can trace it out, and then we have to use our ruler to join from the origin to this x. After you join, then from this x to the next x, you adjust your ruler and then you join, then to the next x as well. The center, make sure your ruler is getting to the center of each x, the center of each x, not just any part of the x, but the very center of it. You can see it. Then you join. You make a straight line joining both centers. So you do the same for the next, and then the next x, and then the next x, and then the next x, in order for you to get your curve. I've made my curve. The B part of the question says, from the graph, estimate the I, upper quartile, and II, 90th percentile. So we are going to solve the upper quartile first. Next, we solve the 90th percentile. Let's remember that the formula for upper quartile is 3n divided by 4, where n refers to the total frequency. So we are writing 3 times the total frequency, which is 50, all divided by 4. So this is going to give 3 times 50 is 150 divided by 4, and the answer is going to be 37.5. 37.5, but this is going to be 5th position. So we are going to search for this on the y-axis. So this is the y-axis, the cumulative frequency. We are searching for 37.5. This is 0. This is 10, 20, 30. Searching for 37.5. 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 37.5 falls here, right in between 37 and 38. So I'm going to trace that all the way to where it touches my curve. Right at the middle. Not on any line, but right at the middle. So this is where it touches my curve, and I'm going to trace it down. Now I'm going to read where it touches on the lower class boundary. So this is 29.5. Each line is also 1 here. 29.5 plus 1, 30.5 plus 1, 31.5, 32.5, 33.5, 34.5, 35.5, 36.5. So it touches on 36.5. So from the graph, the upper quartile is 36.5. From the graph, the upper quartile is 36.5 kilogram. To get the 90th percentile, since we are dealing with percentile, the formula is 90 n over 100, where n refers to the total cumulative frequency. And our total cumulative frequency, is 50. Here we have 90 times 60, which is going to give us 5,400 divided by 100, which is going to give us 54. 54th position. So on the graph, we are going to search for where 54 touches the curve from the y-axis. So I figured on the graph, we do not have 54. Our highest cumulative frequency is 50. So we are going to leave that like that. And that is the answer for the assignment. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again.